So we are about to go on board the plane that was called the Sacred Crow that transported President Roosevelt to the Yalta Conference in February 1945. So we'll be traveling through this box and up into the plane itself and walk through. I have a feeling it's going to be really tight quarters, but we're going to do it. So here we go. I'm going to turn and do an aerial view of. This is Air Force One that transported Kennedy's body by casket. And this is the plane called the Independence, right here, that transported, well, actually Harry Truman used many, many times. So back to Sacred Crow, and we're going in. It's pretty tight in here. You gotta duck your head. Look at all them controls. Pretty amazing. And yes, it's skinny. You gotta be a skinny person or turn sideways to walk through here. You got some bunks. Here's the kitchen. Not really a whole lot to see in here. Luggage compartment. A continuation of this airplane, and I have a feeling back here, it turns to the left, is maybe where the president sat, because it's towards the middle of the plane and it's the less bumpy ride of up part of the plane. Yes, that is really cool. Here's a view from the back side. All right, and now we're exiting. This may have been security personnel or staff. And we're done. So next thing we'll do is go on the Independence. So we're about to go on the Independence. It was the aircraft that was the second aircraft built specifically to transport the President of the United States. A military version of this Douglas commercial airliner. It was used by President Harry Truman from 47 to 53. So we'll go up here and take a tour of it next. This is the plane that Truman flew in. President Truman, called the Independence. Presidential cards, playing cards. Security staff. Kitchen. And we're on our way out. These are smaller aircraft used by various presidents, somewhat of what you might call a puddle jumper to get from one location to another where big aircraft could not get into. I am told that these are equipped with the same sophisticated communication technology as the big Air Force One jet. So that's rather interesting to know. And we're about to go on to Air Force One. So we're about to board the first jet aircraft built specifically for use by the President of the United States. Was a Boeing SAM 26000, a VC-137C, as you can see here. So this is a significant plane for sure, because it had a lot of requests by Kennedy. New paint scheme and various things, and probably one of the most significant things I would say though is this is the actual plane, not a replica, the actual plane that they brought Kennedy home in after he was assassinated.
Aren't allowed to see.
These were the cockpit areas for pilot, co-pilot, and flight engineer.
Oh, it has a toilet.
This is the communication facility enabled the president and other officials to be in contact with Washington, D.C., or any part of the world. So it gets really tight through here. This would have been security personnel or the presidential staff area. Turn to the right. The White House phones provided communications with the aircraft. The president used the beige phone to call anywhere in the world while in flight. The Kennedy years, President Kennedy, his conferences and stateroom were just ahead of the present gallery and 2 rows of seats. The next 3 years, President Nixon's redesign in 1969 included moving the president's quarters to this area, just forward of the wings. This is the quietest and most stable section of the aircraft, and the rear-facing seats ordered by President Johnson were changed to face forward. So now we're visiting where Kennedy's section would be here. Wouldn't you have loved to have been a fly on the wall back then in this aircraft? Pretty amazing that what we're seeing here. So where we are standing now is This was used for the conference room for the president's staff. President Kennedy's conference room was in this area, and after the death of President Kennedy, Vice President Johnson was sworn in this area, as you may recall seeing this. Additional staffing seats back here. And then this area was used by the Air Force security personnel on presidential trips to safeguard the aircraft while on the ground. And the section you're looking at right here was the flight crew of SAM 2600 made room for President Kennedy's casket by removing this partition and the first 4 seats. And this concludes our visitation of the presidential aircrafts. Hope you enjoyed this video as well as I did. And thanks for watching.